it's time to talk about Studio Series 44 again. Like I said, we're going to be talking about Studio Series 44 again, but mostly because it's Toyhax time. Yeah, the Toyhax is done completely all over this bot, but ordering it though, it's two separate sheets. So what I'm going to be doing is doing timestamps down at the bottom in the description box, and of course I'll leave the links as well. The decals for the trailer are separate, but you will need the ones for the cab. But the cab will fit Studio Series 32, I think it is, for Optimus Prime. That's one I don't have. But if you want to complete the set, and I mean including the weapons, you will need both. So, let's get into it. Now, you know my feelings on Studio Series 44. I despise this truck with a passion. In the review, mine's is completely quality control issues. And I didn't really want to do anything with it, but when I did see the actual decals, Toyhax have done a fantastic job and given it new life, which was one of my biggest things I hated about it. I really did think it looked plain, especially the trailer. It looked cheap, there was just no imagination in it, and that was that. So before we get into the trailer, let's look at the cab. Now, of course, I'd done the decal review on Studio Series 05 Optimus Prime, and they were okay. I'd say they're fine for a first attempt, when that was like the first ones we've seen in Studio Series from Toyhax. But this is so much better, I've got to admit, because these decals are for both Optimus Primes. I've done everything so it's the Dark of the Moon version. Just because obviously the trailer's there, but there is separate decals within that pack where you can make it either Transformers movie or Dark of the Moon movie, so it's good to have both those options if you're wanting to go down that road. But what I do find is there's more in this. When I done the decals for the 05, there was not much complaints. I do wish they added just a little bit more, but I've got to admit they've done a fantastic job on this one. And it makes up for some of the ones that are lacking on this, or some of the ones that just look cheap. Likes of, if I'm bringing the camera a little bit closer, like so the ones that's meant to be lights down here. I just think that looks cheap. I'm not a fan of it. Or the fact that there's nothing coming here, or even on this. It just doesn't feel finished. But when you come to this one now, it just looks complete. There's absolutely no complaints with that whatsoever. The only one part I did have issue is just obviously the backlights. Those backlights there, I just felt I was going to end up like breaking them. And you'll see what I mean. See, there's a little crack right there. And that was just me putting them on. They are quite thin. But when you look at the back of the bot, and then you take in 05, they did go all out. So I can't complain when the level of detail is fantastic. It really is a lot of great detail ploughed into this bot. If I put Prime right up there on the turntable, you can see there is a lot of decals ploughed right across him. This took a while actually. I was quite surprised at how long this actually took to get this cab done. And the trailer isn't shy as well. The trailer did take a while, but because the time framing of the trailer and the cab, they never came out at the same time. So this is the whole reason I held the video off, because the trailer was done maybe 2 months before the actual cab was. I've been sitting on this for about a month and a half before now the video's been made. But originally it was just to showcase next to the 05 bot. Then it'll go back into the jetpack mode and we'll never see it again. But now I'm happy I held off, and you're going to get the whole thing with the cab and the trailer. So now that's done, let's move on to the trailer. We'll have a look at that, we'll transform Prime, and then we'll start looking at everything else. The trailer is seriously looking so much better. Even when I took the photos earlier on and I was remembering some of the decals I've slapped on that just make this pop even better. The only ones I'd say it took me a little bit just to get used to was the ones going across for obviously the main stripe of the trailer. It's 2 sets, and you do have to use kind of like a heat pressure. The easiest way I actually found it was just using my hand, just applying the heat like that, and it at least brings back out the divots coming down. And it's the same with the emblem. It just gives it that extra bit of 3D to it. And then hiding some decals under here as well. Now, this hasn't got any upgrade kits. There is so many out there now for this, but I am not giving... Basically, what I've done for this bot is what I'm doing for it, because I am not the biggest fan of the live-action studio series. I am not the biggest fan, everybody knows that. But if it's going to make it look as good as what it's done, and I've only just got to the truck in the cab, I've not got to prime the jetpack, then you know something's right has been done. We've got all the decals coming across, that finishes off, that is amazing. But the front, I just love this. And I'll just fix the zoom in the camera. We'll zoom in, have a little look-see. That looks so much better. Looks so much better in my opinion. That red Autobot sticker, just the vents, everything. They've done a fantastic job. They really did. Then of course underneath, this is where the guns are hidden, but I've not put anything else in because this is all coming out and it'll never be touched again because I'm not the biggest fan. And originally, like I said, if I bring back in 05, that was basically how I was going to show it off and just talk about the trailer. But no, I waited, and because I waited, now we've got something that actually looks really good, and it does do that bot justice. It really does now, and I like it more, even though mine has got quality control issues clearly at the front. The front not closing, but when it's in its robot mode, you will see why now. It looks fantastic. So let's get them transformed, and now we'll take a look at the work that's been done on the body of Prime. 44 Prime transformed, because obviously 05 transformed as well, but the level of detail now, and a bot I really didn't like. Just so much to take in, there really is. The decals just don't stop in certain places like it did in 05. They've went all out, especially on this bot, and I think it really does complete it. It doesn't look plain anymore. The chrome looks fantastic. They added flames, they added decals down in spots you wouldn't even think of, and it just looks great. It really does bring this bot to life now, and it's great because now it looks like that Prime from Dark of the Moon. It really does. It just doesn't look cheap with those blue tinted windows it had. Even putting small things like the silver for the antennas on the side of Prime, that is great. And it's a lot better than Studio Series 05 Optimus Prime now in the sense of what Toyhax have done. So let's get them off this. We'll stop that now, and I'll just put him back on the ground. Now, before we even look at the weapons coming in, you can see there's a lot of work done there, and it looks absolutely fantastic. And if I was to bring in 05 in a minute, you see that it doesn't even come close to what they've done. They've really went all out to try and make this figure stand on its own. Like I said, the antennas, adding the flames coming around, just even like a silver chrome coming down here. And then the sword. That sword looks fantastic now. That was one of my biggest complaints in my original review. I think it just looked cheap. Now it looks good. I really do love that. The legs matching on both sides. It was so much interest. It's like art. It's like interesting art piece you're looking at, and you're looking at all the new things you're finding. And that's what they've done here. A lot of work has went into this, and it looks great. The only issue I still have to this bot, I don't like these bits don't fold. That is it. When it comes to robot mode now. But they've continued like having the red in here, like it is in the movie posters. Everything just looks great. It really does. Adding chrome at the hip now, which they never did in the 05. They've added chrome here and coming around here to fix it, so it's just not all blue. If we go in here, there's a nice little decal just hidden there. The only ones you've got to look out for really is the ones for the license plates. Like I said, those I've had issues with. Finishing up the back here, they actually weren't done in the 05 edition, they were still blue. So you have them now with decals to give it a bit more pop. Looks great. But yeah, it just looks fantastic now. It really does. So if you're having this set, say you don't have the trailer. Okay, so this is the Transformers movie Prime. The gun now has got a chrome barrel and it fades into black. I'm happy with that. So that'd be the set if you're looking at it in that sense. Okay, so it's basically you've seen both sets now. The gun looks a lot better. As much as I hated the gun again, Studio Series 44 just looks so cheap and nasty when I got it. I was so disappointed with it having quality control issues. And then when you looked at the overall finished product of the bot, I just thought it looked cheap compared to 05. In 05, fair enough, okay, it's not really the correct colour Prime, but the decals when they came out of time made up for that, and the decals looked great on this. 44 looks so much better now, and I've got to admit, I do feel it's took over that soft spot for me with 05. Yeah, there is issues, but the decals have fixed some issues for me. Now let's bring in the trailer and I'll show you what they've done inside. Battle Platform now's got a bit more to it. So inside there's not a lot of decals, but it's the fact that it's fixed the weapons. So that's the way to look at this. Inside it's mostly the jetpack. It's got a lot of the decals and we'll see that in a minute. But zooming in, you can see the shield has now been upgraded. And the decals look really smart on that. I'd like to have seen it been energon, but having it battle weary looking like that is cool. I do like that. And all the little bits here coming up the side, they've all got their own decals as well. The axe looks so much better. That is one of my major complaints regarding the set. It looked cheap. And if you were going to paint the sword, why not paint the blades of the axe, just so it's done? And Hasbro never did. So, Battle Platform looks 10 times better. I'm actually so happy it's fixed now. So happy. So let's take the weapons out. And put them on Prime. Bring them back in. Take off the blaster. So the thing I didn't like about that gun, it's like more of a handgun pistol than like his actual rifle. I felt from that movie. But axe looks cool with the sword if you're going for that final look in the movie. And he takes it out. That just looks a lot better. The shield, it's a strange one because it's like you have to fold down the panel here and then bring down the arm like that so it can sit. It's strange, really is. So if we can get it just right, the peg, and there you go. It looks okay. I much prefer having like the blaster and the sword or the axe and the sword. It doesn't really matter for me. Now it's jetpack time, and just look at the gleam now. It's coming off the jetpack. I was heavily critical of how plain the jetpack looked, and Toyhax hit it out the park. The guns, the wings, just the engines alone, just that touch of colour, and they've just made it look incredible on Prime. And it does finish the bot off, in my opinion. This is a bot I really didn't like, as much as I really wanted it. I didn't like it, just looked nasty when we got it. But now you're seeing everything done, from the weapons, the truck, the cab, the jetpack. So if I stop him when he comes round, and we'll take a look. So up first, we'll look at the jetpack straight away. Jetpack can be a bit tedious to do, because the way the flame kit is, you have to make sure everything is lining perfect. Some, and it's a bit annoying, it can be a bit tedious at times, and then putting on the red paint as well, matching it. But what they've done a fantastic job covering that and just giving some colour to that engine. Especially when you come to the side, you can start to see, like, when the chrome parts, there's a bit of like damage on them, or when they're flying, like obviously burnt, like the engine exhaust. It's incredible what they've done here. The camera might not pick it up, but if I turn it to this one, you can see even like small decals on the engines. So when it's taken off, you can see it. They've done such a brilliant job here. And if I flip it round, just to there, on top, there's just one small gold decal, and of course the rest is that similar one you see on the side of the trailer. It's coming across the wing. Doesn't stop there. Inside the actual jetpack, the camera will just pick it up, but there's two little decals coming in there just for extra lights, and just the way the light hits it. Unfortunately, because of my mic arm, the light's not hitting it, but it glows. It just, with the light, it's beautiful when it's actually all done. And then if I turn them round, the guns look so much better. Adding just a little bit of blue and chrome, it just putting the like blue dots at the front. You'll see it more when I turn the camera again. It just pays it off. And then if I turn it here, they just pick up even better. Overall, Toyhax has given me a kit that I wanted and needed, because yes, we could upgrade them with the 3D printed parts that all came out, all the upgrade kits, but the decals I felt were better. The colour, that was the major thing this Prime was lacking, was the colour. And Toyhax outdid themselves with this kit. The bot alone, when it's all decaled up, looks great. It looks so much better than it originally was. And like I said, it had a hard push, like toppling 05 for me. And I like 05, but it just looked cheap. And the decals over the cab cover 90%. Legit 90% compared to the cab in 05, which it will do like certain parts and then it matches, that's it. No, they've went all out to cover the full bot, and it works, it pays off, and it just looks so much nicer. This to me is now my ultimate movie Prime, as much as there is quality control issues when it's transformed. The fact though, it looks like it's now from the movie. That's it. It's done. You'll never see Studio 44 again on this channel. Thank God. I never wanted to do this bot again. But when I seen the kits, I was looking forward to it. The only problem was we had to wait till the cab came out, and I was happy I held off. So, college is done, folks. What does that mean is coming up next? It could be a number of things. We've got the new Studio Series line. We have more Toyhax I've still to go over. We've got Japanese bots I've still got to go over. We've got third party bots we've got to go over. So expect another video in a couple of days, and I'll just pick a random one and we'll have a look at it. Till next time, people. Thank you for everyone to tune in today's video. If you want to make Baby Grimlock happy, why not hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. All new videos are always coming right here in Optimus Wilbur Reviews. If you'd like to follow me in any of my social media links, all the descriptions are in the description box below. And of course, as always, I cannot stress this enough, I wish to thank Cybertronic Spree for allowing me to use their song Cybertronic Warrior as the theme of this channel. Guys, this is an incredible band, it does incredible covers, and recently just done an amazing album of the Transformers 1986 movie soundtrack. Please follow them and all their social media links. I have every description in the description box below. Please check them out, and as always, Transformer fans, till all are one.